Hi, Joanna.
Hi, Megan. How are you?
I'm good. I am really good. Like everybody else, doing all this crazy getting back to school and just the finishing deadlines and all. But what about you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, same. So our kids go back. Well, our 3-year-old started back at preschool. She's in her second week, and that's going great. And then the older kids, they go back on Tuesday. It's
Craziness. Let me
wild.
stop you really quick because I always forget to do this. For those of people who have just started watching the Pointing It Out podcast, I'm Megan Holmes, and I own the Needlepoint Clubhouse here in St. Louis, Missouri. That's where I'm at. My friend and colleague, Melissa McLeod, and I have started this podcast. Melissa owns the Wool and the Floss in Michigan. And so we've just kind of started this podcast about all things needlepoint. And I tend to kind of interview designers. And so we have Joanna Somers with us here today. So Joanna, do you want to just do a quick little intro of yourself?
Sure. So I own the Plum Stitchery, which I recently put under the umbrella of Plum Design. I live in Ohio. I have 4 kids and a dog, and I don't know how I ended up doing this, but I'm glad I did.
I feel that same way a lot.
What's that?
I feel that same way a lot of the time. Like, how
Yeah.
am I here? But this is so awesome. It's just
Yeah.
a weird feeling. So whereabouts in Ohio?
We're in Hudson,
Okay.
Ohio. So we're in Northeast Ohio, maybe 45 minutes south of Cleveland.
So there's Ohio is a great state for needlepoint, but you've got
lots of
the
shops.
closest shop to you.
Wool and Willow.
Okay. All right.
And that's where I got my start. I started working there shortly after I started stitching, and I learned everything from Anne.
So you and I think, sort of came into the industry, if you will, around the same time. And has it been about 3 years? Will it be about 3 years at the end of the year?
Yeah. So I was actually just looking. My daughter asked to see my first Instagram post. So I scrolled down and I saw it was from June of 2017.
Oh my gosh. So we've just kind of passed your 3-year foray into Instagram.
Yeah.
So I kind of came into needlepoint in a pretty natural way. I started, embroidering and cross stitching when I was a kid, and then I moved to St. Louis, which is a great place for needlepoint. But what about you? If I recall, did you kind of start in the needle arts with quilting? Am I about that?
Yeah, so I did hand piecing and hand quilting. I don't like sewing machines. I can't thread a bobbin, and it just scares me. So I did hand quilting, and I still have my quilts half finished. I put them down when I started stitching my first project, and I never picked them up again.
So didn't you once tell me, was it your mother-in-law who was a needlepointer?
Yes. So my father-in-law passed away, and she moved to Cleveland to be closer to us and to family, and that's where Wool and Willow is. So her sister-in-law was a stitcher and took her into the shop one day, and then after about a week, Jean called me and she goes, "Joanna, you would love this. Let me take you." So she took me and bought me my first project. So she absolutely got me into it.
Do you remember what the first project is? Do you remember whose it was? Or
Yeah, it was a strictly Christmas stocking. I walked in.
Oh my gosh, you started with a stocking?
It was so pretty. It was pink, and Jane had to have that stocking, and they tried to talk me out of it. And my mother-in-law was like, "But she quilts. She makes these big quilts. She can do it." And they're like, "Well, you should do an ornament." And none of them spoke to me. And I said, they made me go to lunch and think about it. Which, to their credit, that's you shouldn't start with a stocking.
Well, but and we will get to this later, but here's what I know about you. You go in and you go all in. So that makes a lot of sense to me about you. But so you have obviously since finished that stocking. I think I recall you've been doing stockings for all of your kids, right?
Yeah. So that was in August. I got it done in 6 weeks and got Henry's done. I was like,
what?
I had something to prove. So I've done those 2. I've done Margaret's. Margaret's I finished last year. I did Jack's, and I'm working on Anne's now.
Oh my gosh, that is just too funny. So please tell me it was on 18 count, or excuse me, on 13 count
It
met.
was absolutely on 13 count. Yeah, no way.
Good for you. So how long ago was that then? Was that a little more than 3 years ago?
Yes, it was. So that was when Henry was 2. He was about to turn 2. So what year would that have been? 15. That was August of 15.
So about 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, almost exactly. Yeah, yeah. So 5 years ago, you started stitching, and then a little after that, you decided to kind of get more involved in the local shop then?
Well, so I was there all the time. And one day Ann said, hey,
Read since you were stitching a stocking.
right. She said, someone, we have an opening and we would all like if you could work here. And I said, oh my God, I would love to work here. She said, well, it's Fridays and Saturdays, but we can take turns with Saturdays. You don't have to work every Saturday. And I said, no, I'll work every Saturday. That is totally fine. I get out of the house and go hang out in the needlepoint shop. I'm there.
Sounds brilliant. Yep.
Yeah. So I worked there until we moved to Hudson 2 years ago. So that's when I left there. And actually, I think I left a little bit earlier than that, just because things were ramping up with Plum Stitchery. So the way that I got into painting was I had tried it. My mother-in-law had wanted a canvas. So I painted one for her, and it took what I would call humble pieces of, first attempts, but I got the hang of it. And then Anne volunteered me to paint something for a group of the shop. And so I sat down to do it. And by this point I had Margaret, who was 6 months old. And I was just so upset that I had been volunteered for this project. But about 10 minutes in, I was like in it again. And then I got obsessed with painting.
Well, and so let me back up just another piece. So you do not have any formal art education. Am I right about that, if I recall? So
I was an English major and a writing minor, and I was in marketing, and I was a realtor. I did online marketing for 10 years.
So had you always sort of been a sketcher, painter? I mean, I've seen your drawings, I've seen your paintings. Way back when we, again, 3 years ago, when we both just sort of started, you were always doing sketches. And I recall you used to do lunchbox or lunch bag work for your daughter. And like, man, this girl is good. I mean, these drawings were incredible.
Oh, thanks.
You just always sort of been like a sketch artist kind of, and then it just
I guess, yeah, I did. I was never, no one ever pulled me aside and said, you should consider this for a career. No art teacher said, oh, this is something you can do. But, it's just something, it's fun to do. And so I just keep doing it. And I think by virtue of that, I've just morphed it into a job.
You chose a way more marketable career, education.
Yeah.
English instead of art, right?
Right.
Teasing.
Yeah, oh yeah, God, English. It's like, I think John Mulaney has an awesome stand-up about majoring in English at Georgetown and how much money he spent on his undergrad at Georgetown, like $140,000. He goes, I spent that much money to learn how to read
books. Yeah, no, exactly. No, I'm just teasing you. But so where did you go to
school? What's that?
Where did you get your degree from?
So Kent State.
Oh, okay.
And I loved it there. It was a wonderful place. It was a wonderful time. I loved college. It was just a degree in critical thinking, which I feel like it applies to what I'm doing now, especially with my book pages that I've been painting recently. I'm just pulling all my old English books off the shelf.
So we can go into that if people don't know. So Joanna recently, like she said, has created this Plum Design umbrella. And I think it freaked everybody out for a hot minute because we were like, well, I think I actually got like a little text that said, hey, I'm going to change my name. What do you think about this? And I was like, great. What? And then she was like, oh my God, did I make a mistake? Because I think all of the needlepoint world were like, oh, is she going away? Is she going away? And it was really more just the opportunity for you to kind of expand on what you were doing, not at all to leave what you had been doing. So
right. So I still have needlepoint under the Plum Stitchery banner, and then with the pandemic, and I know that you have spoken at length about our supply chain and what it has looked like this year. I mean, Germany was closed, so we couldn't get canvas, and I paint masters, and I rely on painting studios to produce volume of my work, and that was put on hold, and everything's just been slowed down. So to help my anxiety that I have felt so much this year, and just,
Yeah.
I don't know, just it's kind of a therapy. I've been painting more, and it's lovely because it's immediate, and I don't have to wait on anybody. I can just paint it and then it's done. And I guess that's what I was looking for when I started the painting. So it didn't really fit under stitchery.
Right.
So that's why I did Plum Design.
So you are painting, and I am waiting for the perfect one. I don't know if you remember that I asked you for a flapper, and I have not seen one.
Oh, right. I do remember you had a bare spot. Maybe I see it behind you on your wall.
So it's being the placeholder is my kids' work, which is not nearly as cute as yours.
You cannot take your kids' art down and put
there's room right up here. Still
okay.
Space.
I'll get some F. Scott Fitzgerald and
exactly The Great Gatsby.
We'll do Zelda and Save Me the Waltz.
Perfect.
Done. Okay.
Yes, you heard it here first. So
right.
But she's been doing a lot of, if any of you haven't seen on both Instagram and then also on the website, is doing a lot of book characters and inspiration from a lot of the literature that you of course studied when you were in college. So
right.
So it's very cool stuff that you're doing. It's beautiful, and they're just one of a kind. Am I right? Or are you thinking of doing some print?
I have looked into prints, and I think I will for some things, but for the book pages, I've asked people and they just want the original book page, which I get.
Well, yeah.
It's just torn out of the book. You really can't get that effect on a print. But there are some things I think I'm going to turn into prints. The houses that I've been painting, I think I'll make prints. Those will be easier.
Beautiful. And really those, I'm not trying to put you on the spot because we didn't talk about this, but really those aren't translatable to needlepoint canvas because it's more brush stroked. Am I right about that? Have you thought about?
I have.
Cross marketing, I guess.
Yeah, I have. You're right though. They're kind of painterly. They're what I would call slapdash. I don't sketch them first. I just kind of dive in. And again, that's just kind of an antidote to painting needlepoint canvas, which is so precise if you want to make it stitch painted. And this was just so nice that I could just slap the paint on. I don't have to worry about it hitting every intersection just right. But I think some of them could. I know I get requests to put some things on canvas. So
well, we're just all putting it out there, I guess, right?
Yeah, right.
So back to so the sketching and the art and the drawing is all. So you just started to say to yourself, I have some ideas. See if this works on canvas, or how did that kind of? You had the artistic ability, you had the interest, you had the cross section of being able to work at a needlepoint shop, see what was out there. So it's kind of almost like this whole synergy of things all started coming together is what it seems like. But is that?
Yeah. So my mother-in-law again had pushed me to paint a canvas for her. She had just started bird watching. And so she gave me her Peterson book of birds. And so I used that to do the Ohio Birds.
Birds, yeah. And I think you and I talked about this before. I forgot that was one of your very first. It's a beautiful canvas for people who haven't seen it.
Yeah, so that was one of the first. And then I don't know. I've talked to other designers about this. I think that designing and painting becomes as addictive as stitching, and you get these ideas, and then some of them you just. Some of them go on 20 minutes and that's all it takes to get your design on canvas. And then some of them sit with you for a while before they're out there. But yeah, that's how it started. And then I painted the foxes. Those were a couple of the earlier ones because my niece needed a stocking. So that was the first one I painted for her.
Beautiful. So the foxes, and then were some of the earlier designs the rounds, the merry and bright and comfort and joy, and those are beautiful too, and those are really kind of becoming classics. Can you believe that you are like, I don't know, you're so darn modest, but Joanna is brilliant, and these things are becoming like so like part of the needlepoint like world now. It's like, oh, that's a plum stitchery, or oh, that's and that's nice. Amazing to me that you've just been so prolific in such a short period of time.
That's very kind. Thank you. That's I hope so. I'm happy to hear that things that you make, you don't want them to be trendy.
Yes.
You want them to be classic and lasting. And so I'm glad to hear that, however many, 3 years, I think I've had those ornaments around. I'm glad that people still stitch them. I still get orders for them.
Oh yeah, we can't keep them in stock. But the other thing that kind of segues nicely into is your collaborations. So again, you and I early on kind of became pals, and I noticed that your artwork was gorgeous, and frankly, you had a little more time at that point because you didn't have quite the
number of children.
well, number of children, number of artists that you're representing, two businesses, you know.
Right.
But very early on, you and I talked about a collaboration with the Grand Hotel. So,
Yes.
well, we did, I don't remember even if we did Grand Hotel first or the Muni first. I guess
I think we did the Muni first.
Right around the same time. But so what was lovely about that is I went to you and I said, I've got this idea. And then you kind of came up with that. And unfortunately, I think for you and for me and for you probably don't have a lot of time to be doing those kind of things right now. Like, hey, I have an idea. Will you paint it for me? You do have time for, and what you've really expanded on is the wonderful lists of collaborations of other artists' work. So can you talk a little bit about that? Like, I'm trying to think of who were some of your first and then kind of how it rolls on from there.
Yeah, so my first was with Trisha Lowenfield, and then I think we only worked together for maybe 6 months, and she's now with two sisters needlepoint, or three sisters and company.
Francis Jew's thing.
Yes.
Company.
And so she's got a really cute 12-day series, and her things are lovely. But that was a great collaboration because it really allowed me to get my feet wet and understand what those agreements meant, and just how to navigate that, because you're licensing it, and there's a couple of different ways to go about that that's respectful of the artists and of their originals. And so I was really appreciative to Trisha that she, worked with me. And then Dana Gibson, I sent her an email on a whim thinking she'll not do this, but she emailed me
off, and I said, no, she's not going to.
Yeah. And she's lovely and so generous. All of these artists are so generous with their work. So those were two of the first. And then I added, oh my gosh, it's just kind of snowballed. So there's Dana Mankey, there's Debbie Vincent, and I'm trying to think of the order in which they came in. Caitlin Peters. I don't know. It's thrown.
So some of them, from what I can tell, and again, I might be overstepping what I observe, but some of them are kind of like you go after them, and some of them, they kind of maybe don't fall in your lap. That's not fair to say, because you've worked really hard to be a great representation for an artist. But some others, I don't know if they really come to you, or there's just kind of like someone introduces you, or is that fair that the collaborations kind of happen in different ways? Or
absolutely. Yeah. So sometimes it's me reaching out to them, and I'll just send an email, and very genuinely from my heart, I'll say, your art is beautiful. It doesn't step on the toes of the other collaborations I have.
So it works well with the grouping.
Yeah. Because you don't want that overlap. It's already been designed. What's the point of designing it again?
Sure.
So the artists that I work with, I'm very careful that they all have their own unique style when they're coming to the table. So that's, works out well. So I'll send them an email, and I know that stitchers would love to stitch these things, and it's an art, it's subjective, and everybody has their own style. So, some people will love one designer and others will love a totally different style of designer. So that's what's so great about collaborations, is that everybody has something that speaks to them, and we're not all having to stitch one kind of needlepoint.
Well, and in one way, I'm thinking, as you're talking, I'm thinking Joanna's going, oh, great, I have their artist. They've done the art. Phew, I can add this to my line, but that's not at all the case, because then you receive the art, and you've got to oftentimes, with most of your collaborations, then translate artwork to canvas, right?
That's correct. Yeah. So this is speaking to your point of how these come about, whether it's I'm reaching out to them or they're reaching out to me. So there's two types of collaborations that I have. They're the kind that I adapt from another medium and put it into needlepoint and put it on master canvas and send it to the studios. And then there are 3 artists that I work with, and they are in their own right needlepoint designers. And so they already have the canvases, they already have everything's down, but I just manage for them.
Kind of the business, a little bit the business side,
Yeah,
the distribution, the inventory management.
exactly. Shipping and so they can just design and they don't have to worry about it. And then I'm able to run it. And that's been really lovely. So the Stitch Garden, Amy Lewandowski, Hedgehog Needlepoint, and Victoria Whitson. Those are.
Oh yeah, that's a new one.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, she's lovely. So she reached out to me. I did some paintings for her, and then we got to talking, and then she, we worked out that agreement. So I'll be repping her line now.
You're the big boss lady, I'll tell you.
Right. Oh, I'm lucky because I work with very nice people. And you run your own company and you think, yeah, I'm the owner, but you still have a lot of colleagues. And so I've been lucky. I have very nice colleagues.
You reap what you sow. Let's remember that too. You are just a very kind heart as well. So you won't say that yourself, but I'm telling you that. So, we just had Hedgehog on Hedgehog. That's not her name. My goodness.
Oh, wait, that's how it's like I'm Plum.
You're Plum, yeah. Plum. So we just had her, and she's very excited to have found you. And I feel like for some people, it's a real relief for them, so that they can focus on kind of the pieces of their business that that they like doing, and that they can be a little more time attentive to. And so that works out great for both parties, I would imagine.
It's a win-win for sure.
Well, and as a shop owner, it's awesome because one thing that's been like blowing my mind, and I'm sure that you have some observations on this too, is all of these startup painters on Instagram and on Etsy and all these, and I've got all these people saying, have you seen this one? Have you seen that one? And I can't keep everything straight, frankly. I mean, it's not that the artwork is the same. It's just that the names and they're all coming so fast and furious. So to be able to go to well, first of all, we have a business relationship already.
Yeah.
Then to be able to go to your website and or message you and say, hey, I need these things. Oh, by the way, could you also add this? Is so wonderful. It's such a relief to kind of one-stop shopping for us.
Yeah. Oh, I bet. And I feel like that happens a lot. Whenever I get an order, it's typically not just for one particular artist. It's for several. And yeah, like you said, it's just one phone call.
Well, yeah, and it makes it easy. And also I can get, as you just alluded to earlier, lots of different sort of feelings of canvases. I mean, it seems weird, but like some that are a little more serious or some that are a little more whimsical, all in one package. And then I've kind of like helped to add to my own inventory. So I'm loving this. So keep on grabbing all this.
Okay.
So what do you feel like? So you are, you've got your own line, which is fab. You've got your art. You've now got these wonderful collaborations. Can you share with us, do you have, and I know some of these things happen so organically that it's hard to really sort of see into the future, but do you have a feeling or a vibe for kind of where the business is going? Or do you have any things on the horizon that you're thinking of, or, more collaborations? Yeah. Will you be trying to spend time doing more of your own artwork? What are you feeling? What's the vibe?
Well, right now I love where it is right now. Mm-hmm. I love that I have the artwork and I have the needlepoint, because and it is not a stressful job to have, really. It's not, I don't lose sleep over my job. So in that, I'm very lucky. My husband's a teacher. He teaches a high school, and the stresses that he has right now is he's a coach and a teacher. He has reason to be stressed. I don't. But what I love is
it's all relative. Let's be fair. It's all relative.
Yeah, sure. But I love having the two avenues, so that when needlepoint gets too stressful, I can go paint a painting, and that's lovely, and vice versa. So I don't feel any need to change what I'm doing right now. It just, everything feels good. I feel like I'm happy where I am. In terms of collaborations, I love my artists. I love them so much. And I look at their things and I just think, God, I wish I had 40 hours a day that I could just sit and adapt these. I have a stack. I have them sketched, stacks of designs to do for Madcap, for Willa Hart, for Riley Sheehy, for Dana Gibson, for Dana Mankey. I mean, Caitlin Peters. I have so many ideas and I just don't have time to do it.
Yeah.
And this year, I feel like we've just not had time with homeschooling and with just keeping up with orders, because I don't know, I am too new to this industry to know if this is a trend or if this is just the cycle of things, but I have never shipped so much. And I don't even have that much inventory comparatively because the painting houses have been down, but it's just, I don't know where people find the time to stitch what they've been ordering.
I'm exactly with you. Like we've already said, we've both come into this industry at the same time. And so when I say things like needlepoint's having a moment, I don't know if that's frankly true or not. It is true in the 3 years that I've been doing this, but I haven't been in it long enough to see, as you just mentioned, trends. And, you know, is needlepoint having a moment, or is needlepoint, is it its turn, you know, in the craft world, is it its turn? But I'm with you. And, you know, I keep telling people that I say, hallelujah, holy cow. Like, yay, I'm so glad this is busy, but whoa.
Yeah.
We're also moms and business people, and right now teachers, and, you know, but
Yeah.
as you said, it's a wonderful place to be right now. And it's just nutty.
It is nutty. It'll be fun. Oh, this is Jane. This is my 8-year-old. She's
Hi, sweet girl. You want to say hi?
You see a shadow.
That's okay. Hi, sweetheart.
I won't bring
Well, my son was riding around on a Razor scooter in the shop earlier today, and I thought to myself, my professionalism has just flown straight out the window. And what do you mean nobody has a chance to be professional right now? We're all living in this crazy world. So it's
every phone call I have with the shop, you know, you can hear my son in the background asking me for food, and like, I'm on the phone.
Apple juice. Oh yeah. So if a world were without needlepoint and painting, what would Joanna Somers be doing? And maybe if you didn't have like all the, I did an icebreaker at my virtual staff meeting the other day. I was like, if we had the chance, where would you be right now? You know, like, so would you be traveling? Would you be biking? Would you be like, what are your other things?
I don't know. Career-wise, if I could have another career besides this, I would own a bridal salon.
Really?
I think that would be so much fun. And I bought my wedding dress on eBay from J. Crew.
You know that I did wedding consulting for years, and that one of my best friends here in St. Louis owns a bridal boutique. So if you ever want a taste someday.
I'm sure she would advise me against it. It looks very stressful.
You know, it's all relative. People's point ownership of a needlepoint shop seems fun, and you know what? I love just about every minute of it. But you know, so really, I do not see you. So is fashion something that interests you, or you just think that being part of that whole process would be fun?
It would just be fun. It would be fun to have a bride come in and try to figure out what her style is and just play dress up all day. That sounds like fun.
That is so funny, because you just do not strike me as that like frilly dressy.
No, and I'm not.
That's not at all. Of all the things that you could have said when I just said, what would you be doing? That is not anything close to what I would have guessed.
I've watched too many episodes of Say Yes to the Dress.
Say Yes to the Dress. That's fun. That is fun. And
I'm sure in editing, they take out all of the bad parts, but
crazy stressful stuff. So a couple of things that I love to ask, and for those of you who have been watching me and Melissa do this, you've heard me say that I started kind of doing this designer sofa series, and Melissa started doing these unboxings, and then that's kind of how we came together. So Joanna was actually my very first sofa series interview. So hopefully this is interesting, even if you saw that first one. But what I told her is that that was before I had all the technology figured out. And sadly, like Joanna and I talked for 30 minutes and it was awesome. And those of you who watched got to see it. And then it like went away in the cyber world somewhere and it never. So I think I asked you these questions probably back then, but I'm going to ask you again. So what is the very favorite of your personal, like not Dana Menke, not, you know, your own collection, the Plum collection? What's your favorite canvas?
And I think you did ask me this, the Gypsy Moth.
That's right. You did say that. And you said that, because my next question is, what's the best and the worst seller? And
Yeah.
didn't you connect my favorite design and the worst seller are both the Gypsy Moth?
Oh, yeah.
I love. That's so funny to me.
Okay. I think every artist I've ever, because you've asked that of other artists, and I think they all say, or several have given that answer, that their favorites are never the ones that do well.
Isn't that funny?
It is. It is funny. I wonder why that is.
I don't know. We need some sort of psychological, esoteric kind of
I'll
analysis.
get a sociology major to figure this out.
So what about the very best seller? What do you sell the most of?
The atlases. People seem to really like those.
So what is the big one the seller or the
Yeah,
ornaments?
both. But yeah,
The coloration on those is so pretty. So pretty.
Oh, those were fun to do because I had just the dark blue to begin with, and then I added the colors later. And I love to see the way people stitch those because they all get stitched so differently. They get finished so differently, and some of them are trays or they're pillows or they're round with gussets. And people have been very creative putting beads on places they've been.
Oh, cute! What a great idea.
Yeah. Yes, those I think sell the most.
And what's funny about that, and I'll give a little insight, Joanna and I actually had a text going on last night, is so I don't want you to be insulted, but that's a rather simple design, right? It's rather
yeah. No,
compared to some of the other like very detailed, very genius things, that's a rather simple design. But I think it's the colors. I think it's the coloration and the way you added the gold and the last night I'm sitting in front of a canvas and I was like, I can't decide. I had all these threads. So I send a picture to Joanna. I'm like, what do you think? And she's like, oh, I got it. And she sends, and I'm like, your brain just works in mysterious, amazing way. I have to say. So do you find color inspiration in art or vintage? Where do these things like just say like that should be coral and that should be gold, or is it just where are you finding those? Sorry, I got to stop talking and give you a chance to talk. Our personalities are also very different. She's the calm one, and I'm the.
Oh no, I am.
Go ahead.
Yeah, the color inspires me more than anything. You know, like I saw an ad in a magazine, and they had pink and emerald and navy blue with gold in this ad, and it was so pretty together. So I designed a belt and I just used those colors. So usually my designs are just an excuse to use a color.
Sure.
So I really wanted with the atlas, I really love that rich cobalt blue. And so I thought, well, what design could I use this on? And an atlas seemed like a good fit. And I love stripes. So that's usually where it goes. I have a main color and then like a nice thin pinstripe to go with it.
Well, I don't know if people have been following you on Instagram, but you've been giving us sneaks of the stocking that you're doing. And I mentioned this to you last night, that awesome stripe pattern that you did on the cuff is just...
I have it here.
Yeah, let's see it. Let's see it. Because we both also share the love for the Dorothy Draper Company and the Carlton Varney.
Love Dorothy Draper.
Gold stripe. And we've both talked about this. But this is a much softer, more beautiful sort of...
it's supposed to look like mattress ticking.
It's perfect. It's
well,
just
this is such. So this stocking is birds of a feather, and I saw it hanging in my LNS, and I had no one to stitch it for. I just loved it, and I took it, and then surprise, surprise, we had our fourth child, so got our stocking. So I had to make it girly because it's kind of a boyish canvas.
Such a great idea. It really is. And I think that I'm so glad that you both share your artwork and your stitching. You've been so great about that on Instagram and other avenues, because you really are an inspirational person, and it helps other people to gain ideas and feel confident to try things like that, I think. So
that's sweet. I enjoy it. I'm glad that people follow along, and that's just really nice. It's a great outlet, especially right now when we are so confined.
Something else I want to out you on, because I know this, but picking out different threads. Who don't know this, Joanna is a wool girl. She loves wool. And what do you have?
I do.
Every color of like stranded vineyard.
Yeah. The very sadly discontinued Vineyard Merino Strandable. Yeah, so I taught a class at Wool and Willow, a painting class, and I did it twice. And so the second session, we were talking about payment, and she had discontinued her merino and she had it on the sale rack. And I said, can I just take the merino? I hope she doesn't mind me telling that story. So that's how I was paid for that class, was in Vineyard Merino. So I have it in bins. I don't know how it happened, but I love strandable wool. So I know I have Bella Lusso waiting for me when I burn through my merino strandable.
That was wonderful. Bermelana's a good one that doesn't get a lot of love, but
yeah,
that has a little acrylic in it, which gives it a little feel. But yeah, so I just think that's funny that your interest in threads is as classic as a lot of your designs, like a classic wool.
Oh, it takes the color so well. So this stocking is almost all wool, and there is some silk, and it's a nice little sheen, but there's something so vintage about the wool.
I agree. I think we both share the love for kind of old world. I mean, your stocking is a great example. The florals, I see that painting behind you.
Yes, so this is Jack's great aunt or great aunt was an artist. So she did that, and then she did this. You can't really see him. It's a shepherd boy.
Oh, wow. So that's not just a thrift find. That's
You can't see it. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
A family piece. She was really talented. She had painted china that we have. And
my gosh.
Yeah, she never married. She just was an artist.
Yeah, that's incredible. So that means she had a little more time than you do to do your art.
I can't do what she.
Wow.
Those portraits were amazing, but yeah, I like the vintage feel.
So, is there anything else that we haven't talked about that you would like to share, or are there any? It does not appear that you're sitting at your studio. I don't know if you're sitting at your painting desk or not.
I'm in my dining room because my son is watching YouTube. Do your kids watch YouTube?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
YouTube, kids playing with other kids playing with toys.
Oh, I wish. No, they're watching these gamers, and so it's split screen, and they're watching Minecraft and Roblox, and I don't know what the hell it is. It's YouTube.
Just let it go. It's 2020.
So these people are yelling off my, and no matter how many times I tell them to please turn this off, it just magically comes on again. So that's why I'm sitting here. It's far away from the YouTube and the yelling.
What I was going to ask though, is there anything on the painting desk that you might, besides the collaborative work that you're hoping to translate, is there anything of your own that you are working on, or that you're?
No, the last one that I did was the book plate, and I haven't started painting it yet. And I think the latest thing I painted was the house that I posted yesterday. Yes, there's a book plate on National Book Lovers Day. You've seen those book plates on the front.
Yes, for the inside the front cover of a book.
Yeah. Yes, I thought that would be a cute pillow in a library. So I think if I get a chance to paint something for myself, that's what I'll go to first.
Well, and I just added to my collection, I will say, Shelter in Place, and I am silly in here, and I don't have it with me, but I'll have to post it. I think I'm going to do a stitch along.
That would be cute.
And maybe you would be a guest in a Zoom call or something.
Oh, sure. Absolutely.
That is, of all of the, and you said this to me, and of all of the kind of like funny things I've seen and all of the like quarantine things, just subtle enough that you said this was what you said is this is my contribution to quarantine, or to 2020 COVID, right, whatever we're calling it. And to me, it's so pretty that I won't look at it and be like, 2020. I'll be like, oh, that was fun to see. So,
oh gosh.
I've added that to my collection, and I'll post that on my Instagram page later. So for those who haven't seen it, but it's awesome. So I'm getting ready to watch that. But so that was a rather new, a couple months piece.
Well, I mean, that's how long it's taking to get
It's
things
okay.
back.
All
Yes,
right.
there's that. There's Cuckoo Clock. I did the Conestoga wagon because there's a very Oregon Trail vibe to our lives right now.
Yes.
Just waiting for diphtheria to set in, lose our flour while we're fording the river. Our oxen are dead. It's just.
I saw somebody the other day with the meme. Do you remember the Chris Farley movie when he's like me, and he's like crashing? What
Was it Tommy Boy?
yes, and he's with and I'm terrible at movies, but
David Spade?
he's trying to like be like, and so in case you need new tires or whatever, he's like crash, and what you're describing is the Oregon Trail version of what he was doing on that person's desk with the things.
Oh, it's just like, what can go wrong?
Yeah, I know.
Cheer.
What is going right is needlepoint, and what is also going right is all of the things that you're doing, and you're just a trooper, you really are. And I know that seems weird because you've only been doing this for a short time, but you're just an amazing talent, and
Thank you.
you're awesome.
Thank you.
And thank
So are
you.
you.
You're sweet. I wasn't doing that to.
Oh, I know you weren't fishing, but I'll tell you anyway.
Oh, well, thank you. Well, we're having a lot of fun with this podcast, and it just seemed appropriate to bring you back in because you really are awesome in the industry, and keep up all the good work. And for those of you who have been watching the series, we hope that you have been enjoying it. We're always open to new ideas and ideas for new people to interview. And also, we hope that everyone will go on and hit subscribe on our YouTube channel, because that just helps us continue to get the word out and continue to kind of roll along. So that little tied up with the bow housekeeping note. I think that's all I've got. Is that all you've got?
That's all I've got.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time. And
Thank you. Thank you
get
for
back
having me.
oh, my pleasure. You got to get back to Minecraft or something, right?
No. Get back to yelling at my kids to stop watching Minecraft.
That's exactly right. Get a paintbrush in your hand. Would you do something?
That's pretty much all I do.
All right. Well, that's all I've got for today. But thank you so much. And we'll.
You.
All right.
All right. Thank you, Megan.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.